Back with another exciting vintage 1985 Donruss box break. As you know, I do not like to break them on camera because I like to penny sleeve every card when I bust a vintage box, and I only want to show you the ones that were worth viewing. So here we go. The first is Mike Schmidt. Very well centered. This set, or this card or year, is very susceptible to chipping, bad corners, bad centering. So if you can get a 10 or a 9 in the lighthouse holder, by all means get it. If you can get it at a good price. I do believe this is the equivalent eventually to the 71 Topps in difficulty. See, you can see the centering issue here on the Lou Whitaker Diamond Kings. Here is Andre Dawson, and I did top load all of these just to give you a real good feeling for the off-center nature of the card, but just they can't take any handling at all. Even putting them into the penny sleeve is pretty risky. But I did get a couple victories in this set. One of the Pete Rose is worth a few bucks if it's centered. That one's not, but it's nice to have the card. Here's the Darryl Strawberry. And that one isn't too bad, you know, so that you might think that that would be worth a 9, but it wouldn't come back as a 9. It might come back as an 8. But you know, it's so hard to trust. I'd rather just buy one sometimes. But and then this great new recent Hall of Famer Lee Smith. Again, not a card you're going to submit. Steve Carlton. That one's pretty close. Very well centered. You know, it's interesting because as grading cards prices go up, it's going to be harder to take the chance to grade something. So graded cards are going to go up in value, and then so is the people who can really spot good cards. So it's a very interesting time in the hobby. Here's Wade Boggs. There's a lot of people that argue that there just aren't any new 10s or high grades in these boxes when you break them. So it doesn't make any sense to do vintage breaks or anything like that because PSA watches vintage pop numbers, and so cards have to be extremely perfect for them to get high grades. So here's the Burt Blyleven, and I think there's some logic to that. So again, another argument for buying a 10 when you can get it, maybe regardless of the era of the grading. Doesn't always have to be the lighthouse. Here's Phil Necro. I'd be curious what other people think, because everybody says buy the card, buy the grade, not the card, or buy the card, not the grade, and I actually have a tendency to disagree with that a little bit. Because if you look at resale values, an 8 is never going to sell for what a 9 does, regardless of when it was graded. Andre Dawson. So if you're buying it for your own personal collection, then that might make some sense if you never intend on selling it. Here's Alan Trammell, obviously off-center. This one's a nice one to get, Tony Gwynn. This one's chipped very bad down here. Tony Gwynn again, not a bad card to get, pretty close, still off-center. Here's one of the valuable cards it's the first card of the set. If you can get it well centered, that one's about as well centered as I've seen in a while. I might send that to PSA, but it'd get an 8 or less. Here's one of the greatest Hall of Famers of all time in honor of those back pages, Harold Baines. Every time I see him now or get a card of one of his, I just have to laugh. But he is spectacular, though, for Hall of Famers who have been on the edge. Because they just compare very well against him. You know, just because Tony La Russa got Harold Baines in the Hall of Fame doesn't mean it can't happen for someone else. Here's Eddie Murray. Here's the Oral Hershiser rookie card. So you get really good value. The 85 box is a little under $100, unless you pay for the BB, you know, the sealed, which I would not recommend, because that doesn't mean anything. I've bought lots of sealed cases from them that have had damaged cards, mildew, or whatever. So, but you get a lot of great cards and variation, very few doubles. So Jack Morris. This is just out of wall, one box. There's the Garrett card, off center bad. Really cool is I got another one of the Ryan Sandbergs, #1. That one's obviously a lot off center compared to the first one. Carlton Fisk. One of the things I did not get, unfortunately, is the Roger Clemens. Bruce Sutter. Gary Gaetti. Nice looking card there. Kirk Gibson. Another Tony Gwynn Diamond King. It's a pretty good looking card there too. That would come back in 8. Got the Cal Ripken Jr. Diamond King. The Nolan Ryan, this is one of the better cards for sure. Still off center top to bottom, would come back probably in 8 or less. Ozzie Smith, this is one of the better cards. When I looked them over, I think this one's pretty close. Probably still an 8 though. I threw Andy Van Slyke in there. Another Mike Schmidt, which makes me happy. Both centered very well. You know, what I try to do sometimes is just pick the best card that I received from the box and submit it to see what grade it might get. And then I know not to send any more in if it does poorly. Here's Wade Boggs. That's why I sent in Shooty Babbitt on that Flair set, if you guys follow my videos. And that came back a 9, so I'm not ever going to submit any more cards. There's Reggie. That would be nice if it wasn't a 9, but it's not. All right, the great Eric Davis. Yeah. And then luckily I did pull 2 Kirby Pucketts. So the first one, right here. And that one's pretty damn good. Could be a 9. They don't give 10s, but I know I shouldn't even say this, but I do have friends that might doctor the magic marker them a little bit sometimes, but I've always heard that they catch that stuff, so I would never do it, but that's not worth burning the money. And there's the second one, and you notice that one's off center, so I'd probably just submit the first Kirby to see what it got and then go from there. And then lastly, I wanted to save this for all the Yankee fans, because this is why the Yankees always win. They get great talent, and they just do it consistently. So here is the DJ LeMahieu rookie card. They got this guy for a steal, and mark my words, he will do great things for the Yankees. He's a tremendous clubhouse guy, tremendous player, infielder, Gold Glove winner, batting champion. So you may hate the Yankees, but this is why they win. Appreciate you tuning in. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Take care.